Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first of our extended orientation resource fairs for graduate and professional students. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Amanda Godley, the Vice Provost for Graduate Studies, and I just want to provide a quick overview of the types of academic resources you'll be hearing about today. You'll be hearing about the ombuds people in various schools who can help you with conflict resolutions or issues that you're facing. You'll hear about fellowship support, financial aid, the Writing Center, Pitt IT, and a whole bunch of graduate certificates that you can, and programs that you can participate in to enhance the program that you are already enrolled in. I wanted to share one other academic resource, and that is that each year the University of Pittsburgh has a year of theme where there are events that are focused on a particular academic theme and scholarly theme throughout the year. This year is the year of data and society, and I posted the link to the website for that in the chat. And through the year of data and society, you'll see a number of workshops and speakers and other types of learning opportunities offered to you and the campus community. So we hope that you participate in that academic opportunity as well. So welcome again. And I think that I am turning over the floor to our first speaker, Cheryl Paul.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here, and I'm especially interested in speaking with all of you. I am a member of the Ombuds community here at the University of Pittsburgh. There are about 15 of us. Most of us are in different schools. I'm going to post in the link when I'm done talking a location within the provost office that you can find your ombudsperson. Let's talk a little bit, first of all, about what is an ombuds, right? It's an old name, has a lot of history to it, but it's pretty simple. An ombuds acts as a no-barrier, first-stop individual when someone's seeking information. So you can think of us as kind of a trusted advisor, someone who is independent, impartial, confidential, and informal. And in fact, those 4 items are the 4 international tenets that for the Ombuds Association standard of practice. So let me talk just very briefly about each of them. From the perspective of confidentiality, the Ombuds Office maintains the confidentiality of our visitors, meaning that if you come in and talk to us, we're not picking up the phone and reporting out who came to see us. The only exceptions is if there's a threat to public safety. Then we do have a legal obligation to report. I've been doing this for years. We've never had to do that. The tenet of neutrality. It is expected that an ombuds will be neutral and impartial when listening to the interest and concerns of whoever may be speaking with them. Our role is not to take sides in any conflict or dispute. So we don't have authority to override decisions. What we try to do is provide resources and perspective. The third tenet is informality. And basically, we're an informal dispute resolution, conflict management office, right? Visiting us should never be punitive. It should be a step if you need some guidance or some understanding around a university policy or any other situation. And finally, the fourth tenet is independence. We function independently from other offices. The only time we would report out is for administrative or budgetary purposes. So let's talk a little bit more specifically about what we do and what we don't do, shall we? We're often asked, how does someone know when to bring a concern to an ombuds versus reporting it to another campus office? And so I think it's really important that I stress that the Ombuds Office, we don't replace other campus resources, but instead, again, we're an informal place where we can connect members of our campus community where they might start exploring a concern or a policy or an issue. So consider us the office of first resort. Another question we often get is, what resolution, if any, could one expect from an ombuds? And so it's very important for all of you to understand that we don't directly resolve issues. Instead, we help to empower our community members to analyze, strategize, and basically talk about what to do next. So let me give you a few examples of situations where some of my colleagues and myself, we've provided assistance to graduate students. We've provided guidance to grad students in terms of working with an advisor or a peer. We facilitate informal or mediated conversations if appropriate. Provide a neutral place for someone just to talk about something that's going on and make connections to resources, right? I want to again stress that all of the conversations that we have are confidential. Again, the only exception is if you are a danger to yourself or if it involves a Title IX allegation. I want to point out something very quickly, and I'm going to put all of these resources in the chat so you can grab them up and save them for a time that you might need to look at them. But if I were to maybe give some lessons from the trenches, the thing that I think is so important when you're first starting your graduate career is familiarize yourself with where to get information on policies and guidelines. You never know when you're going to need to look at them. So I'm going to provide those in the chat. And finally, just some parting thoughts. Please remember, our ultimate goal as ombuds is to increase the level of awareness so you, our students, can make informed decisions and know where to go for support and further information. We tell our students, no problem too small. Don't wait until it becomes so overwhelming you don't know what to do next. I will make sure that I provide in the chat the link that you can identify the ombuds for each of your schools. So on behalf of all my ombuds colleagues, we are wishing all of you all of the very best for the upcoming year. And coming up next, I believe, is Megan Culpepper of Fellowship Support.
Hi, everybody. My name is Megan Culpepper, and I am a member of the grad studies team here in the Office of the Provost. And I'm also the point of contact for graduate fellowships, postdoctoral affairs, and also the 3-minute thesis competition, which is a really fun event that takes place in April each year. There are several national fellowships that are run through the Office of the Provost. And so those are the Liebman Fund Fellowship, the Gilliam Fellowship, the Google PhD Fellowship, and the CGS Distinguished Dissertation Award. And actually, Pitt just had a Gilliam and a Liebman winner this past year, which we're really excited about. And so I am your direct contact for these fellowships specifically, but I can also help out with any general fellowship questions and get you pointed in the right direction. And then another great fellowship support resource, which a lot of people aren't aware of, is the Honors College. And although they traditionally work with undergraduates, they actually do provide one-on-one support for several graduate fellowships, including the NSF GRFP and also the Fulbright. So you can check out their website and get details and contact information so that you can schedule time to meet one of their scholar mentors for some one-on-one support. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, and it's something that I'm really excited about, is that we are currently working on a comprehensive graduate fellowship website. And this is going to provide information about a ton of national fellowships, as well as internal awards here at Pitt. And we'll also provide tips for how to successfully apply for these fellowships. So it's going to be a great resource. Stay tuned. We hope to get that rolling out soon. And I've put my contact information on the slide. So if you have any questions regarding fellowships or you want to know more about the 3-minute thesis competition, you can reach out to me anytime. So that's all. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Megan, for that great information. It's nice to meet everyone. I'm Stephanie Hugendorn. I'm from the graduate team here at Pitt. Next up, to continue a little discussion about financial aid, we have Tom Damsky from our Office of Financial Aid.
Well, hello there, everybody. I am exceptionally excited to be part of this. And I'm going to just share my screen in 1 second. Wonderful. Okay. So what I'm going to talk about today is the FAFSA. Everybody loves talking about the FAFSA form. What the FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. Certainly, you can start this application October 1st. Please make sure that the school code for the University of Pittsburgh is on there. It's 008815. You must do the FAFSA every year. The FAFSA is the first form for any kind of federal financial aid that you would possibly be eligible for. It will determine your federal financial aid status. You also would need an FSA ID number. The FSA ID is, for those of you that may remember, it's used to be your electronic signature. Now you're going to be doing this through studentaid.gov. You would actually do the FAFSA form through studentaid.gov. Please just keep in mind, though, every year, get in the rhythm. October 1st, boom, do the application. Again, touching on the FSA ID number, this is again through the Department of Ed. You would go through studentaid.gov. What will you need to complete that FSA ID number? As we have listed here, your Social Security, your full name, date of birth, password. You have to create a username and password. Make sure it's memorable, so it's certainly for you and you only. And you will have challenging questions, so if you do forget it and you have to call the Department of Ed, they may ask you the questions so they know who you are and you know that you're giving the correct information. Federal direct loans, the amount of the loan that you're going to get, it's an unsubsidized direct loan. The amount of that loan is $20,500 for the academic year. Keep in mind, too, that that's for fall, spring, summer. For those of you that are listening in, fall, spring, summer is one academic year. Please keep in mind, if you use the maximum of that loan in the fall and spring, unfortunately, you wouldn't have any eligibility for summer. We're going to talk about a few other slides quickly that you can look at other options. And certainly, if you have questions during this thing, you can put it in the chat. Anything at all, I'm more than happy to help you. But again, $20,500 is the academic amount you can get for the year. The total maximum loan limit is $138,500 as a graduate student. That's your overall aggregate loan limit. So as an undergrad and a grad, the max you can get is $138,500. If you do exceed and you go up to that limit, then the only options you're going to be looking into after that is either a Graduate Plus loan, which again, you can do through studentaid.gov. And you would certainly, once you apply for that loan, it's a process that takes about a week, maybe 2 weeks to review through us and through the Department of Ed. You will need to do a separate master promissory note and entrance counseling, just like you would need to do for the direct unsubsidized loan. You have to be at least half-time eligibility. Half-time for a graduate student is 4.5 credits. Full-time is 9, okay? Same for the direct unsub. If you do not want to go the Graduate Plus route, and that's fine, some people will look at private educational loans. I know that I was already asked about international students. International students, their option would be a private loan. Private loan for an international student, you would need to apply. It's a credit-based loan, but you would need a U.S. citizen as a co-signer to apply, okay? So keep that in mind. Once you do the application, you can go through any private lender that you wish. Certainly that's your decision, but you would need, for international students, a U.S. citizen as a co-signer. For other students, you would need a credit-worthy co-signer for this option. One other thing I want to touch on, and I know this is a lot of information, and I feel so bad when it's a 5-minute deal that we have to fit all in this envelope. We try to give you a little touch of it, and then you always want to reach out to us and ask if you have questions. That's key, okay? Especially with over-award. Over-awarding is when a student's over their cost of attendance. So in other words, through the awards that were given, through either your score department, different loan options, each student has a cost of attendance, tuition, fees, living expenses. Those costs of attendance, you can't go over, but you can go up to. When a student receives a financial aid award offer and a refund, keep in mind, when you're getting more than one refund, reach out to us. Don't be afraid to call us in financial aid. Contact me. I'm more than happy to go over your account. That's why we're here, to help and support you. That's why we're doing this program. So if you get more than 2 refunds, you may want to reach out to us. And how you would reach out to us, here is our contact information. Our phone number is 412-624-7488. Certainly, you can always email us at finaid@pitt.edu. We are located in Thackeray Hall. We're there. Come on over and see us. Our hours are 8:30 to 5. Certainly, Thackeray Hall is right next to Soldiers and Sailors. If you know that, you're going to see right next to University Club. We're right behind there. Stop in and see us. So if you do have any questions for me, please feel free. Leave them in the chat. Happy to help you in any way whatsoever. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tom, for that good information. And as Tom said, we will be posting all of these slides on our website. We'll give you that URL at the end of the presentation. And as Tom also mentioned, after all of the panelists present, we'll be doing some Q&A with them. If you want to go, as you have questions, feel free to enter those in the Q&A now or a little bit later. And so next up, I'm happy to introduce Nancy Glaser from the Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies program. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Okay, I'm really happy to be here. Welcome, everybody. And graduate students, I am so sorry that COVID means we can't be feeding you during this event when you're trying to absorb so much so fast. I hope you're eating wherever you are. So I direct the Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies program. Although it's based in the Dietrich School, we are an interdisciplinary and very much inter-school unit. We have involvement from faculty and students in the Ed School, the School of Social Work, the School of Public Health, GISPIA, ones I'm forgetting too, but we're also trying to expand our intellectual and collegial connections to STEM fields, medical sciences, the engineering school. So if any of you are in those schools and have ideas about ways in which through coursework or otherwise we could support you, don't hesitate to get in touch. So for graduate students, we offer MA and PhD certificates. They are basically different in size. There's a couple more courses required for the PhD certificate, but PhD students can actually apply for MA certificates if it's a better fit for their program. And the certificate consists of a core course, a GSWS course, some cross-listed courses which exist in many departments. We have a pretty wonderful rotating range of options, and a research paper. We have a dissertation writing group for students involved in the program. There's a very active graduate student organization, which is shared between Cultural Studies and GSWS, and they run a Works in Progress symposium for people to share and get feedback on work. Just a second, I blocked part of my view of the slides. Okay, we're able to offer a teaching fellowship, a one-semester opportunity to teach an introductory course that can be combined with support in your department for the other semester. And we offer some prizes and some research funds. So I encourage you to check out our website, which I put in the chat, about all of these opportunities. But as you can imagine, there's a lot to kind of enrich a graduate student community and a lot of ways to bring students together. Now, There we go. We also, for everybody in our networks, offer reading groups. There will be some tied to this year's research theme, which I'll talk about in a minute. But we also are sponsoring a gender and science reading group that is conducted by Dr. Bridget Keown, and I've listed her email here and in the chat. And it's really reading a wide variety of things, from bias and algorithms to ways in which the studies of the human genome have been inflected by ideas about gender and sexuality. So it's a great place to check out the gender and science community. And we sponsor a lot of workshops that are supporting research and pedagogy every year. So one of your options, whether or not you ever want to take a course or apply for a certificate, is just to get on our mailing list so that you will find out about things. We welcome people to be involved in any way. Every year or 2-year stretch, we have a research theme, and these are our recent research themes. Gender and science was just before COVID, gender and the child, masculinities, embodiment, gender and the global. What we were ready to move forward with right before COVID hit, like February of 2020, we've deferred for a year. It's the research theme, Mobilizing Against Ethno-Nationalism, Intersectional Approaches. And I'm sorry, it's not catchy. It was developed by a committee. But what we're trying to do is to connect white supremacy here with forms of ethno-nationalism at large, now and in the past. And you'll see that the pictures are from a Black Lives Matter march here and a protest against Hindu ethno-nationalism below. So our interest, of course, is ways in which gender and sexuality are always part of ethno-nationalist oppression and regulation, and also mobilization and cultural pushback. And the reason why we're leading with mobilizing against is we really want to talk about the ways in which there's contingency and opportunities to do things differently, and ways in which people are marshaling cultural resources against ethno-nationalism. There'll be more information coming out soon about the programming related to that theme. It's going to start later in the fall, and I think all of it's probably going to be remote. But I'd also like to invite you to a welcome event that we're having this Friday called Telling Queer Stories, that brings together 2 exciting projects in progress. On the left is a still from the short film Thanks to Her, which won a lot of awards and had a successful Kickstarter campaign. It's by Sam Orlowski and Sam McCoy, who are both Pitt alums. And it's a short film that kind of blew up on YouTube, partly because of the way that it dealt with asexuality, homophobia, intergenerational LGBTQ relations, and the filmmakers are turning it into a feature film. So they're going to talk about the film, and some of our local experts, including Dana Ock and Julie Beaulieu, will talk a little bit about queer media representation and representation of queer youth in particular, how this film is part of the current volatile context of these representations. On the right is an old headline. It's supposed to be about Pittsburgh as gay America's best kept secret. That's standing in for the Pitt LGBTQ Archival Education Project, which is a brainchild of Julie Beaulieu, Robin Keir, and David Grinnell. It's partly a finding tool for local LGBTQ archives, so that no matter where they're kept, you can go to one central place and kind of, research any topic, right, which could involve sports teams, science, entrepreneurship, after hours life. And it's an archival exercise for students who are working on presenting and interpreting the data, and also creating instructional modules that instructors could use in courses, so that if you're interested in the archive, it's easy to kind of put it to work in your life as a teacher, at least in some kinds of courses. So if you can, please join us on Friday for that. And I'm showing you our website, because if you go to the website and you go to the bottom of the front page, you will hit the place that you can click on to get more information about that event and to register for it on Zoom. So we would love for you to join our mailing list, check out our website. Feel free to talk to me if you're interested in the certificate program or really about anything else. And welcome to Pitt.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Appreciate that great information. And next, I'd like to welcome John Stoner, who's from the University Center for International Studies.
Thanks, Stephanie. I appreciate that. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Stoner, a faculty member in the History Department. I'm delighted to be here today. For the last 3 years, I've had the privilege of serving as the Executive Director for Academic Affairs within, as Stephanie mentioned, the not easy to pronounce University Center for International Studies. We often call it USIS for short, which saves time, if nothing else. And USIS is a matrix organization that serves the entire university community, faculty, staff, and especially students on all of the university's campuses. In addition to the Office of International Services, which handles immigration compliance and services for international students, faculty, and staff, the nationality rooms and intercultural exchange programs, and the Global Experiences Office, which most people would recognize as formerly the Study Abroad Office, USIS is comprised of 6 additional regional and thematic studies centers: the Center for African Studies, the Asian Studies Center, the European Studies Center, the Global Studies Center, the Center for Latin American Studies, and the Center for Russian, East European, and Eurasian Studies comprise the backbone of area studies at the university. Combined, they work with more than 500 affiliated faculty who are expert in their respective fields and regions. Each of those centers offers 2 or more graduate credentials related to their region or area of study. Each requires an interdisciplinary curricular component, as well as demonstrated competency in a relevant language. Each graduate certificate is listed on the student's transcript and demonstrates not only the aforementioned inter and multidisciplinarity, but also demonstrates that a student has been trained more broadly than may be required by their own degree granting program. As of this current academic year, when we expect to receive final approval, all of the USIS graduate credentials will be in 2 tiers: a regular certificate tailored for master's students or students who don't enter their programs with relevant linguistic competencies, and advanced study certificates for students in PhD programs or those who already have existing linguistic competency. In addition to the extra professional value that the certificates provide, each of our centers and USIS generally provides access to a variety of different funding opportunities, from financial aid to research and travel support, whether centrally, through the Nationality Room scholarship programs, or through each center. Be in touch with the relevant center for more information. USIS also offers support for student research through its International Studies Fund competition every spring. And we offer access to a wide variety of program, support for professional development, potential access to international mentors, and a host of other services. Each of our certificate students receives advising from dedicated professional advisors, almost all of whom have relevant terminal degrees in their field. They work with you to build a tailored, relevant curriculum, some of which can overlap with your existing degree requirements. They ensure a plan for evaluation of your existing language competency and future language study, and work with you to craft relevant connections and networks beyond those provided through your degree. In conclusion, we believe that a USIS certificate and connections to the networks that they provide are an accessible, especially if you contact us early in your time at Pitt, and personally and professionally valuable complement to whatever degree you are pursuing. You can find us online at usis.pitt.edu. I'll stick the link in the chat afterwards, or walk into our offices at 4400 Posvar Hall and ask to be directed to a relevant advisor. All of our area study centers are located on the 4th floor of Posvar Hall. You can email me at stonerjc@pitt.edu if you have any questions, and I can certainly direct you to the right resources or the right people. I wanted to make one last plug, if you haven't already taken advantage, and I'll stick a link in the chat as well, to recognize name diversity and respect how people's names should be pronounced. The university has engaged a service called Name Coach that allows all of us to embed in emails, web pages, on Canvas, etc., a link to how you wish your name to be pronounced or how you expect it to be pronounced. I'll stick a link in the chat so you get a sense of how it works. Many thanks, and I'll echo Nancy in saying welcome to Pitt.
Thank you so much, John. And I do love that Name Coach software. It's a really great feature that we've been able to offer. So up next, I'd like to introduce Leslie Poljak. She's from the university library system. I'm always surprised when I hear about the library and just all the vast number of resources that they have available for you. Leslie.
Thank you, Stephanie, and hello, everyone. I'm Leslie Poljak, and I am an outreach and engagement librarian with the University Library System. I am going to drop a link in the chat to the University Library System's homepage. And I'm actually going to share my screen and just show you a few resources that I think are going to be really helpful to you as a graduate student, and show you where you can get help as well and who you can contact. So I'll go ahead and share my screen now. And what's displaying right now is the library homepage. Again, this is library.pitt.edu. I wanted to mention too that in addition to the university library system, there are two other library systems on campus. This includes the health sciences library system and the Barco Law library system. So if you're interested in visiting the libraries or using any of the libraries on campus, you can find a list of our libraries here under the libraries tab. And you can also find our hours on the homepage here as well. So I will definitely encourage you as a graduate student to reach out and ask questions to librarians. We have librarians that are different subject experts in different areas of the university, and also in different research methods. And you can find a list of all of your different librarians and their subject areas under this link here, Find an Expert. And I do encourage you to reach out to them and ask questions maybe about the different resources that we have. You can ask questions about different databases that we have access to, and research methods, and some of the other digital areas that I'll mention in my talk as well. This Ask Us link here too links to a more general Ask Us a Librarian chat service or email service. So if you do have a quick question, I do encourage you to use that link as well. In the middle of the page here is a search box, and this will search our library catalog, PittCat. So this is kind of a broad overview search of just about everything we have within the library system. You can search books and articles, DVDs, electronic resources. This is a nice kind of all-encompassing search for that. Below that, there is a link to our A to Z databases and our course and subject guides if you'd like to go more in depth. But again, I would encourage you to schedule an appointment with a librarian to look at these resources as well, as they're very helpful. If you're looking for something that we don't have at the libraries, we do have an interlibrary loan service. So you can place a request for those materials, and you'll receive an email about the availability of those, or a scanned PDF if that's something, if you've requested an article or book chapter or something like that. And that is a free service to you. In addition to that, I wanted to also mention some of our upcoming events and workshops. So there is a list here on the right-hand side of the screen. There's an ETG workshop coming up. There will be others during the semester as well. So the library does offer a lot of support for digital scholarship, as well as electronic theses and dissertations. We have an institutional repository called D-Scholarship. So I would encourage you to check that out. It can help make your research a little more discoverable. And we also have some general workshops like Welcome to PittCat and Welcome to the Pitt Libraries coming up. I teach a citation management workshop called Zotero. So we offer support for Zotero, EndNote, and Mendeley. There's workshops on those and research guides. And then there's some more data-based workshops coming up as well. So we have a digital scholarship services department at the library. And those librarians are there to support you in creating digital exhibits, or maybe providing some introductory coding workshops, GIS support as well. And we have an Office of Scholarly Communications and Publishing if you have questions about scholarly publications and scholarly publication resources. And so finally, I did also want to mention that we have there's a large archives and special collections unit in our libraries as well. So if you'd like to take a look at those, you can go under Collections, Archives, and Special Collections and search any finding aids, and also browse through some of the digital collections. There's also some exhibits on the third floor of Hillman Library, and I welcome you to visit and explore those exhibits and visit any of the libraries on campus. So I will send out a slide with a lot of these links that I mentioned afterwards with the rest of when Stephanie sends out the rest of the slides. And please do come to us if you have any questions. And again, welcome to Pitt. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leslie. Appreciate all that good information. And next up, I'd like to introduce Adam Lee. He's going, Adam is from the from our Sky School. I'm going to let Adam specify Sky because I'm blinking at the moment and I didn't put that in my notes. But he's going to talk about a certificate program that is open for graduate students.
Thanks, Stephanie. I'm from SCI, the School of Computing and Information, and I'm the Associate Dean for Academic Programs today. I'm here today because the faculty member in charge of the certificate program, Professor Joe Yurko, is teaching a class and unable to make it. But I wanted to take just 2 minutes to let you all know about a new graduate certificate that we've launched this year on applied data-driven methods. And the idea here is that this is a certificate for folks who want to look at building up competencies around managing data computationally and managing information. Includes coursework on data manipulation and programming using Python, techniques for managing, querying, and preserving data over time. So it brings together both sort of traditional database management with data stewardship and other topics from the library side of our house. Coursework on applied predictive modeling and applied machine learning, data visualization, and it opens the doors to a number of electives from our information science programs on topics like data mining, neural networks, machine learning, databases, GIS systems, and the like. So this is a 12-credit graduate certificate targeted at people who are looking to build computational backgrounds. So there's not an assumption of prior programming experience or anything like that. We've just launched it this semester, but we piloted all of the courses last year and managed to get enrollments through, working with some of the folks on this call from 8 of our graduate and professional schools on campus. And so we're fairly confident that the coursework is accessible to folks in many, many different disciplines, ranging from the sciences, the humanities, engineering, business, and the medical side of campus. So if you're interested in building up those skills, do check it out. I will put some information into the chat that has a link to a story introducing the certificate, the contact information for Professor Yurko, who is a great point of contact and sort of the lead advisor on this certificate, as well as my contact information. If you have any questions, do feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to talk to you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Adam. And next up, we have Ellen Smith from the Writing Center.
Hey out there, nice to see you. Welcome to Pitt. I am a senior lecturer in the English department, and part of my teaching appointment involves individual consultations at the Writing Center. I really like taking a break from the classroom and doing more individual work. I've also been involved for the past 10 years in offering programming for graduate students. It started as a dissertation program, but now we've expanded it during COVID. COVID has silver linings sometimes. We expanded it to all graduate students working on projects and wanting support in their writing life. So let me just walk through. I'm going to put the link to the Writing Center here. And then I'm going to share my screen. Can everybody see? Are we good? Okay. First and foremost, the Writing Center offers on-site and virtual consultations. We provide support on many levels, and not just to undergraduates. We work with a lot of graduate students, and trust me, you're always welcome because we get a preponderance of, freshman composition writers, and it's nice for us to get a break from that. So this term, we are doing on-site and virtual consultations. The site for the Writing Center is 317B O'Hara Student Center. We have a staff of consultants ranging from English department faculty to undergraduate peer tutors. We offer 30-minute sessions as a default. 60-minute sessions are a toggled option that is recommended for bigger documents or a more complex tutorial. Consultations can involve virtually any aspect of the writing process, from planning to citation to brainstorming to revision. And as somebody who works with grad students a lot, especially through our dissertation camp and our dissertation project camp and our dissertation project workshops. I will say that I've had grad students who are working on dissertations come just to get past writer's block, and we come up with a prompt for the section they have to write. I leave them to their own devices and come back in 40 minutes or so. We're really scrappy and flexible. So we're trying to work with you wherever you are and whatever is coming up for you as a writer. During writing center hours, walk-ins may be accommodated, like if you come on the half hour or half hour, though it's recommended that you make an appointment in advance. We can get really, really busy, especially once our drop is over and the midterms kick in. And also a lot of the consultants, especially the consultants who are faculty, we tend to get booked with standing appointments pretty quickly. So if the writing center is something that is on your agenda to check out, I would say try to do it sooner rather than later. Here are some things to consider when making appointments. Does what you hope to do seem feasible in a 30-minute tutorial, or would it be better to toggle for the 60-minute appointment? Sometimes it's best to take the full 60 minutes and then just gauge whether you need more or less time after that. If you have a successful appointment and would like to schedule a recurring appointment, click on this tiny thing here, show repeat options on the scheduling page. Give as much detail as possible about what you would like to work on. The writing center consultants are not allowed to directly edit work for writers. They can identify types of errors and offer strategies for identifying and editing them.
Hey,
I just want to jump back.
Ellen,
yes.
I'm sorry, somebody's just pointed out, and it's right. You're actually not moving through we're still seeing the title screen, and I think you're referencing other slides.
Oh my. Okay, let me see if I can get out of this and go back. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, so when making appointments, this is the second page, what we do, the list of what we do at the writing center, just in terms of basic services. This is what else to consider when making appointments, this 30-minute to 60, the repeat option. You can actually have a standing appointment if you find a consultant that you really like working with, and when you create a new appointment, you can click on to the right here of the times and see what the recurring repeat options are. It's really important when you make the appointment to give as much detail as possible about what you would like to work on. Okay, some people a lot of times will put like things like grammar or flow, and those are actually pretty broad categories and don't give us a good sense of what to expect. So as much detail as you can put into your appointment when you make it, the better. All of the consultants at the Writing Center will take a few moments to dialogue with you on what the issues are and be very clear about what we can and can't address in the session. So finally, the Writing Center, this is what I just finished saying while you didn't have the slide. We can't directly edit for writers. That goes against the mission of the university and the Writing Center, but we can identify types of errors and offer tricks and strategies for identifying and editing them. So to access the Writing Center, I've given you the link in the chat, but here it is again. Go to the Writing Center Pitt IT, and then here you'll see the landing page with the schedule an appointment tab here, and you click on that. If you're doing it for the first time, you'll need to register by creating a username and a password. It's important to note that the Writing Center system is completely oblivious to Pitt username and password situations. So if you change your password for Pitt because you have to every 6 months, the Writing Center won't know that. Whatever you establish in that first appointment when you register, that is your username and password, and it stays the same unless you change it. If you wish to see both the online and on-site schedules, you'll see when you're signing in here with your credentials that if you only wanted to see the online, you click here. If you want to see both, you can click, this is O'Hara Student Center, indicates in-person sessions. When the schedule loads, you can click on the name of scheduled consultants to see their specializations, to see if that's a tutor that can help you. I'm also a great resource for letting you know who in the Writing Center is equipped to work with you, because I've been in the Writing Center for 20 years. So, and I will be giving you my contact a little bit further on in the next slide here. The Writing Center is committed to accommodating writers with disabilities. Please tell us what we need to know in order to best work with you. We know that I myself have a hearing disability, and we know that every disability is different for every person. And so as much information as you can give us about how to best work with you, the better. International student writers of all levels are welcome to strengthen their style, mechanics, organization, and usage by working with the Writing Center. You don't even need to have an ongoing project to come into the Writing Center. If you say just want to sit down with the tutor every so often to go over certain kinds of usage, that's fine. Again, anything that gives us a break from helping with freshman composition papers is welcome by Writing Center consultants. Not that we don't love them, but we just get a preponderance of those, especially in the fall when the undergraduate first years are really gung-ho. By spring term, it's less so, but that's human nature. So the Writing Center also offers casual sessions on English grammar and usage through the International Cafe. We have several ESL instructors on our staff. They pick a topic. Usually it's one of those things about English that drives speakers of other languages crazy. And they're usually refreshments, and it's very relaxed and just a great way to get clarification on things like semicolons or expressions. I know I wrote a thesis in my second language, and we didn't have a Writing Center. And I'm sure that my instructors, when reading my work, probably had a few chuckles and scratched their head a lot. But we're here to help you with that, because we know how hard it is. Okay, and finally, we have it extended the ways that we can support your work. For the past 10 years or so, I've been involved with planning and facilitating initially dissertation, what we call dissertation boot camp, but we've changed that to dissertation camp and dissertation project camp. So now any graduate student who is working on their writing and wants to get a better sense of how to set up a writing practice and how to stay committed to it, these workshops and camps are great. During the school year, at least one time per semester, we usually have a Saturday workshop. This distribution for these dates and signups usually goes through directors of graduate studies. So check your emails, and you can always reach out to me if you want to know. We don't have any dates set for our workshop yet for this term, so watch this space. At the end of the spring semester, we also offer a week-long dissertation project camp, which expands on and adds to the topics covered at workshops, and also includes dedicated writing time. Information on all these events hopefully will reach your inbox during the course of the year. During the week long, we bring in outside speakers. There are several people here today who have served that function. I would point out Amanda has been on a panel, and Nancy Glazner has been on a panel that we usually have at the end of the project camp. And the panel consists generally of people who oversee, chair a lot of dissertation committees. And we have a casual Q&A where they can share that side of the relationship for a longer project. We're also MFA students as well are welcome. We usually try to get folks who have sat on MFA committees to talk. Also, Leslie has stopped into the camp to talk about Zotero. John from ULS has been on hand. I'm trying to see, am I leaving anybody out? No. So roughly half of the people on this panel have contributed in some way to our week-long dissertation project camp. We also have writing days and writing accountability groups. Participants in dissertation project camps and workshops, we put them on a email list, and they're eligible to attend bi-weekly writing days, which usually during the academic year are on Saturdays. I facilitate them. Before COVID, you would get a notice every other week that we would be meeting on a Saturday at the Writing Center, it's a really sunny space, and it's a great way to get away from your house and your laundry so that you're focused on your writing.
Ellen, if you can wrap up shortly so we can get to the next speaker.
Sure, absolutely. And I set up refreshments in the morning, and you can also consult with me. It looks like we're going to do this remotely. And so if you're interested in attending writing days, reach out to me here. My email is below. Writing accountability groups are already being organized by the Writing Institute. I don't know if those are settled yet, but if you're interested in joining a writing accountability group, you should reach out to Mariah Curdy at the Writing Institute. Okay, so I will definitely send these slides so that you can look them over more closely. And thank you.
Thank you, Ellen, for sharing all that great information about the Writing Center. Now, I'd like to introduce Namdu, who's from Pitt IT, who's going to share some useful technical resources.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Stephanie. My name is Namdo, and I'll be going over some of the IT resources available to you as Pitt students. So just first, a little bit of background about Pitt IT. We provide services and support for teaching and research at the university. We have end user support for faculty, staff, and students, 24/7 IT help desk, and we also provide software at no cost to students. Our website is technology.pitt.edu. We have various articles and instructions and other information about our supported services. You can check out the site from the link here that I'll drop into chat. Again, it's technology.pitt.edu. Our main resource is the 24/7 IT help desk. We provide troubleshooting and support over the phone, online, and in person at our drop-in support center at the university store on 5th. Feel free to bring in your laptop or mobile device to have someone assist you. Just please note that during our busy schedules, you may need to set up an appointment ahead of time. Regarding software, our software downloads page can be accessed via the software download service task on the my.pitt.edu portal. Right here, you can download most software packages that are required for your course work at no extra charge. Some software may be required, requiring a fee, so you may need to check our website for more details. For Microsoft Office 365, as long as you are an enrolled student at Pitt, you should be able to download Office 365 from office.com or via the Microsoft Office 365 task on the MyPitt portal. Once you install it, you'll have access to 365 applications like Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. Just note that this version does expire once you leave Pitt. So if you are a graduating student, you do have the option to continue using a version of Office by going to the On the Hub task in the MyPitt portal and downloading a copy to keep once you graduate. Just note that this software must be registered to a personal account, not your Pitt account, before that access is revoked. Our student computing labs, we have labs available various locations around campus. You can go to our website here, technology.pitt.edu services student computing labs to see what's installed in the computing lab and what our operating hours are. There are also print stations available in many buildings around campus that should be accessible according to the building business hours. Last but not least, if you are unable to install the required software for your courses on your computer, or if you can't make it to a campus computing lab, you do have the option of connecting to the virtual lab, which replicates the lab experience remotely. You can access the virtual lab from any location on almost any computer or mobile device at any time of the day. Instructions on how to connect to the virtual lab can be found on our website. And if you do have any other questions, just feel free to give us a call or drop into our chat from our technology page, and we'll be happy to assist you. Just to echo everyone else's sentiments, thank you for your time and welcome to Pitt.
Thank you so much on those updates from Pitt IT. We have a few minutes left for some questions. The first question we received a couple of questions about all of these slides will be posted at this website along with a recording of this Zoom call as well. So this will be available probably in a day or two. So I wanted to ask if any students have any questions in the next couple of minutes, if you want to drop that in the chat.
I have a quick question that maybe Leslie, you could answer about any study spaces in the library or places that students could go.
That's a great question. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm thinking primarily about Hillman Library since that's where I usually work out of. And the fourth floor of Hillman Library is quiet study only. So that's usually the most quiet spot in the whole library. And there are many tables and chairs. There's also group study rooms that you can reserve online if you'd like to pursue that option as well. And I believe there's group study rooms on the third and fourth floors of the library. But yeah, throughout the library, there's different study spaces. Some are more group oriented, some are more quiet study, but those are some good options. And if you look on our website, you can see the other libraries as well and kind of go and explore those spaces too.
Terrific. Any of our panel, let's see. Someone is asking how to access pharmacy. I'm not sure if that's the pharmacy library, if there's a pharmacy library, or if you mean the pharmacy in our as part of our student health services. Leslie, is there a pharmacy library? No.
No, there's a health sciences library in Scaife Hall, the Folk Library, and they may have some pharmacy resources.
And if you're looking for the pharmacy, that is on Fifth Avenue across from the Starbucks. Sorry for the Actually, it's really close to Thackeray and Fifth Avenue, or the University Place and Fifth Avenue. That the pharmacy is a great resource. If you make it to the university-wide wellness fair in 3 Wednesdays on 7 and on 9/29, you'll learn a lot about the pharmacy and other types of resources. Leslie. There's a question about campus in 24 hours.
Yeah, so Hillman Library is open 24/5 schedule during regular fall and spring semester hours usually. So starting at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning until 10 p.m. Friday evening, the library is open around the clock. You, of course, need your Pitt ID to enter the building. And then on Saturdays, I believe the hours are 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So 24/5, and then some hours on Saturday too, just closing on Friday and Saturday nights.
Terrific. Thanks so much, Leslie. I want to thank all of our panelists. I hope all of our new or returning students have really kind of gotten a great sense of all the different folks on campus who are really invested in your success, and how they all really go out of their way to help with support services for students. I put in the chat some resources from the provost office. We put out a monthly newsletter, and Amanda Godley, the vice provost, has monthly office hours that you should peek out for. There's also a Twitter account where we post a lot of information about these kinds of resources. And if you ever have a question about, if you ever have a question that you're looking for some university-wide resource, then feel free to drop us an email at VP Godley. So thanks, everyone. I see one quick question about returning loans. Do you see that, Tom? Is that something, how to return loans that we don't use for graduate students?
Yep, sure. I'd be glad to talk about that. So if you have a refund that you've gotten and you don't want to keep the refund, which is great, especially if you got it from a loan, you can always reach out to our office, and you can email us. You can call us, and also I'll give you my email. My email is T as in Tom, J as in Joseph, D as in dog, S as in Sam, T as in Tom 27@pitt.edu. We would return those funds to the servicer. Then the refund that you got, you would then pay that refund back to Pitt. So you would always want to contact us. Reach out to our office first. We're very happy to help you with any of those questions.
Great. Thanks so much, Tom, for that, for helping us squeeze in that last question and answer. So thanks again. Welcome to all of the new students. Thanks to all of our panelists. Have a wonderful day. Please try to join us a week at the same time, and we'll have more information specifically about professional development on campus. Everyone have a great day. Thank you.